My name is Telisha, and I am the founder of the Perfectly Flawed project. A lot of you might know me as @JustFlawed on Instagram and Twitter. Our purpose is to empower people to embrace this uncontrollable condition known as vitiligo. Why do I call the campaign the Perfectly Flawed project? And basically, to just simplify it, is perfect being perfection, and it's flawed, meaning I guess something's wrong, but perfectly flawed is definitely an oxymoron. How can something perfect be flawed? But I think that my flaws make me human. And I think when you can get to a point in your life where you're humbled at the thought of just being human, that's perfection. you know every flaw that I have about me, not just my vitiligo, trust me, because I got a few flaws, but it it humbles me. It reminds me that I am no better than no one out there, and I'm not in competition with anyone but myself. And when I realized that, that's when Perfectly Flawed came into my head. About 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with vitiligo, and it definitely was something that caught me off guard. I never even heard about vitiligo. I never knew what it was. I would see people with it, but I didn't know that that was the name of it. Through the years, it's been referred to as the Michael Jackson condition or the Michael Jackson disease. And I think that we should definitely take back that name, take back vitiligo as what it is, and be proud of who we are. I think that having vitiligo has definitely molded me to be the woman that I am now. A lot of times I get asked, how can you be so confident and okay with it, and not be ashamed to show your skin? And honestly, it took a long time for me to get to this place in my life. And not to say that I'm in a place where everything is just perfect. It's not. I struggle with different issues every day, and a lot of the time it comes back to my vitiligo. But I know that if I continue to live a positive life and continue to encourage myself and motivate myself, that I'll reach a point where I am 100% okay with this condition. Times I hear that people identify vitiligo as just a skin condition, but for those of you who have it, know well that it is more than just a skin condition. We are faced with a lot of psychological issues. We're faced with also health issues, and we don't get the acknowledgement that we deserve. We're a community that is very voiceless, and it does bother me that in media we're not portrayed. When you look in a magazine, you don't see someone that looks like us, and that has to change. And I won't stop until it changes. Through the years, I've learned that in order for me to change anything about me, that I would have to acknowledge my shortcomings. I would have to acknowledge who I was at that time. For a long time, I was okay with living in this box, not giving my 100%. I know that I could have put forth more of an effort to motivate myself and to inspire myself. The things that I've been through has definitely taught me to appreciate time. And in time, I've learned that everything that I've experienced has brought me to a point where I can share my story and help someone else. And I think it's so important that we remember that. A lot of times we go through things, it's not just for us, but it's to encourage someone else. I remember the first time someone emailed me. It was a young woman, and she found a blog that I had written that I forgot I even had on the internet. And she said when she read it that she began to cry because she felt as though I was telling her story. She felt that my words were her exact words, her exact thoughts. And that shook me to my core because I never thought that someone would be able to understand my experiences. So I think a lot of the people that I meet and they share their story with me, they don't value it. They don't see the value in how they've overcome. Recently I spoke at an event and I met this young woman who didn't have vitiligo, and she began to tell me about her experiences. A young girl turning 18, and she said that she had began trying to commit suicide since the age of, I believe, 13 or 14 years old. And I looked at her and I just had to say, well, you're here. You're about to be 18, and all of these things that you did to take you out from being here, you're still here. That story, that message it's powerful. No matter what we put ourselves through, no matter what happens to us, all of the pressure that might fall on us, we're still here. Like you can still push with everything, and no matter how small it is. There were a lot of days where I felt empty, hard to get out of bed. It's hard to eat, it's hard to sleep. If we can find that within us, we can accomplish anything. There is no limit to our strength on what we can handle, because if I allowed my vitiligo to drag me or to break me down, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here sharing my story with you. I wouldn't be able to let people know that I've tried to commit suicide. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with the confusion and feeling lost and not really understanding why. Questioning, why me? Why does this have to happen to me? But honestly, for me, if I didn't have vitiligo, I don't think I would be so outspoken. I don't think I would be the person who wants to be out of the box. I think for me, being in the box, it was comfortable. It was fine. No one was watching me. No one was looking at me. I didn't bring any attention towards myself, so it was fine. But the day I stepped out of the box and began living, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling to just live and experience. For a long time, emotion didn't mean anything to me. There was no happy days. There weren't any sad days. I just woke up, went to school, came home, this routine, and I wasn't living. I was just existing, basically. And the day I realized that I had to live and that I had to experience, that I had to understand that I'm gonna be hurt, that I'll have happy days, that I'll laugh some days and I'll cry another day, that these were all things that I needed to build me, to build Telisha, to be strong and to be confident and to learn to adjust. It's interesting that when you meet someone who doesn't have vitiligo, they look at you and they say, wow, like, you have two different colored skins, but yet you're smiling, you're laughing. Like that's it. They can't fathom. They would think that, you should be in hiding or you're ashamed. I'm not. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of my condition. I don't need to call it the Michael Jackson disease or condition. It's vitiligo, and it's a part of me, it's a part of who I am, and I can't change that. You know, if one day there's a cure for it, hey, let's see. But if not, you know, this is me, and no one can take that from me. You only have one life to live. So you can allow the negative or the hurt or the confusion to consume you, or you can address it head on. You know, even though I dealt with depression, I never acknowledged it. I never called it that. I just thought I was sad. I thought I was just, something was wrong with me. But when I was able to just look at myself and say, you're depressed. That's, you are. You're not allowing yourself to grieve. You know, when I was diagnosed, it was kind of just being diagnosed, being told something about myself. And the fact is that this condition is going to change me. You know, it's going to change that 10-year-old girl. And I never allowed myself to grieve for that little girl, because from that day on, I knew that things would be different in my life. And I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to look at it. And that's what made it so difficult, because I didn't allow myself to adjust to this new Telisha, this new aspect of my life. I didn't want to embrace it. And when I did, things just began to change. My outlook on life in general began to change. Look back on my life, I'm not that old, but when I look back on my life, it amazes me, all of the things that I've even done to myself, that I'm still here. I was definitely my biggest critic and my biggest enemy. And to think that I can be here and share my story and it encourage someone to change their life, it's amazing. I shouldn't be here. If what I did in the past actually worked, if me trying to kill myself, or me trying to, harm myself physically, mentally, emotionally, if it worked, if I wouldn't be here. I can't stop telling my story, and I won't stop telling my story. It scares me that there are people out there who just don't know how to embrace who they are, the fact that they're changing. It scares me that they feel that they don't have a voice, because I know that feeling. I do. But you do. You This life that we're given, we have to let go of certain things. We have to let go, and we have to just push. Don't stop. Push. No matter how bad the day might feel, no matter how bad the situation, push. It gets better. I promise you.